George Washington is known the world over as a revolutionary, but not everyone is familiar with the revolution he started in agriculture in the New World. He began as a tobacco farmer, but the taxes levied by the British on the tobacco trade in America drove the future father of our country into debt, so he switched to growing wheat.
Within 5 years of starting the conversion from tobacco to wheat, he is out of debt. His wheat harvest has increased 24-fold, and now he's able to start buying up neighboring farms. So the 2,100 acres that he inherits will grow to 8,000.
Washington's contribution to agriculture went beyond the shift from tobacco to wheat. He was one of the first colonial farmers to shift away from planting the same crop year after year.
He reads about something called the Norfolk system. It was crop rotation coming out of England. It was a 3 to 4 year system. He realizes it's not going to work for him well here, so he develops a 7-year, 7-field system where rotating his crops is going to introduce nutrients back into the soil. It's going to change the demand that these different crops have on the soil. The soil gets healthier, his yield increases, and now it really allowed him the opportunity to start buying up neighboring farms.
Murphy says before this change, the soil on those farms had been depleted of nutrients, making the land inexpensive. Once Washington implemented crop rotation on those lands, he was able to revitalize them and prosper. 300 years later, educators at Virginia Tech are taking Washington's revolutionary spirit and bringing new ideas and technology to keep agriculture a sustainable industry for generations to come. They showed off some of their new gadgets and processes at, where else, George Washington's Mount Vernon in Northern Virginia. Robin White is with Virginia Tech's Center for Advanced Innovation in Agriculture and says the global population is expected to exceed 10 billion people by the end of this century. Those in agriculture need to find new ways to feed that many consumers.
It's not the first time in human history that we've asked this question of how we're going to be able to feed our growing population. The first time we asked that question, the Industrial Revolution came along, and we had dramatic changes in the way that we used equipment in farming. The second time we asked this question as humans, the Green Revolution occurred, and we were able to harness new technologies to improve the productivity of crop production, both domestically and internationally. And right now, what we see is that we're in the middle of the data revolution. And what the data revolution allows us to do is collect information on a scale that previously we didn't think was possible.
One new way of collecting data is by using drones. Some have thermal cameras to detect which areas need to be watered. Some drones have multispectral sensors that can detect specific parts of fields that have pests or disease, allowing a farmer to limit treatment to just the areas that need it. Hassan Syed Hassani is also an assistant professor with Virginia Tech. He's studying how to use drones with other robotic equipment like this rover to automate some farming jobs. They're using researchers to study over 1,000 plots of agricultural land, which can normally take weeks.
We can reduce that time window that already was 2 to 3 weeks. By this equipment, by this technology, we can reduce that time to 2-3 days.
Right now, this drone can't share its information with the rover directly, but that's the target. Reducing costs, increasing yields, and better protecting the environment are all goals of the Virginia Tech research program. It's all part of the continuing revolution in agriculture that George Washington inspired, while creating the smart farm of the future. In Mount Vernon, Virginia, I'm Burke Moeller reporting.